And then we have kind of a fun game. It's called Fan Fact or Fiction, and I'll just read you some questions from fans, and you can answer.
Okay.
Okay, so would you ever go on tour with the Jonas Brothers?
Sure.
That would be awesome.
I like Joe the best.
What about Joe?
He seems really nice.
He does. What's one thing every fan needs to bring with them to VidCon?
A camera.
So they can take photos of you on stage and with you?
Just me.
Just you. That's it. No one else. That's iconic. If you could resurrect one dead musician to perform with you at VidCon, who would it be?
Probably Prince.
That's a good one. If you could only eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Gummy bears.
That's like one of my favorites too. It's just good.
Yeah, there's so many different flavors.
And they're fun to chew. I don't know why. If there's one location that you haven't been, where would it be that you'd like to go on tour?
Iceland.
What about Iceland?
It seems very beautiful.
What's your favorite thing about meet and greets?
Getting to talk to my fans one-on-one.
And then, who's your favorite Hemsworth brother? Luke, Liam, or Chris?
Oh, they're all brothers. I thought there were only two.
There's a third one. He's in Westworld.
Oh, I like that one.
Okay, so Luke.
Luke.
Would you ever want to collab with Cardi B?
Potentially. I wouldn't be opposed.
Your new graphic novel, Genesis 1. Tell us a little bit about how this came to be.
Well, Genesis 1 is about how Poppy was born and the people that are after Poppy, and it tells a little bit about her love of the internet.
And then, what was the process of coming up with the graphic novel? Were you involved in drawing? Were you involved in the concept art? What was that process like?
Well, the book is written by Poppy Titanic Sinclair and also one other writer named Ryan Cady, who's very talented. And we all got together and wrote the book.
And then, why did this feel like the right artistic move for you to go with a graphic novel as opposed to maybe some other sort of artistic expression?
Well, sometimes you just need to lay it out for people, and I feel like we really laid it out in this book.
Awesome. And then another thing that you have that's upcoming is your VidCon Performance. Tell us a little bit about what fans are going to be able to see when they come to see you on stage.
Well, at VidCon you'll see Poppy and Charlotte. We have finally agreed to collaborate together live, and I think the viewers will really enjoy it.
And then, that's kind of epic. How did that come to be, having Charlotte on stage? I don't know, have we seen her in a live performance before?
Well, we haven't seen Charlotte in a live performance yet, but she's been in a lot of my videos, and she's also working on her new album, and I agreed to help her with the album if this performance goes well.
And then, what are some of the tracks that you're going to be performing while on stage at VidCon?
Well, you'll have to come and see. It's going to be a little bit experimental, I guess you could say.
And then, will fans perhaps get to hear some of your new music from your new EP, because they're loving it online?
Well, you'll be able to see that performed live at Comic-Con if you come to see me.
Awesome. And then, so you have your new EP, Choke. It's got kind of dark vibes and it's pretty edgy. It feels like kind of an evolution of who Poppy is in this time. Can you tell us a little bit about the artistic process behind creating those songs?
Well, we wrote those songs, except for Scary Mask, one weekend in Joshua Tree, and I just felt like I was receiving a signal from the outside world, and I needed to communicate it in the form of music. And all but one song is produced by Titanic Sinclair, and we explored a lot of new synthesizers and analog synthesizers that we haven't previously explored.
That's awesome. And then you had one track, it was called Scary Mask, as you mentioned, and it featured the band Fever. I don't know if it's 333 or 3333. How did that collaboration come about?
Well, I'm a big fan of their music, and they also are a fan of Poppy. And one fateful day in Los Angeles, they were in the studio, and I was as well. And I said, hey, do you want to make a song? And we did.
Awesome. And then looking forward to the future of Poppy and your music, what kind of avenues would you like to explore with tracks and also collaborations, perhaps?
Well, my new album is due out at the end of this year. And maybe there's a collaboration or two on it, but I would say out of that record, you should expect something heavy.
That's awesome. And then jumping back to VidCon, what is your favorite thing about attending VidCon and being there?
Well, my favorite thing about VidCon is the fans.
What about the fans? Is it the interaction you have, or maybe feeding off of them in the crowd, that kind of thing?
I would say feeding off of them in the crowd, but also seeing their beautiful, bright, shining faces. And hopefully we get to take photos together.
Oh, that's awesome. Are you going to be doing any kind of meet and greets while you're there?
Yes.
And then what is a Poppy meet and greet like for people who haven't been to one before?
Well, you get me, and we get to speak to each other.
Awesome. And then can you tease any kind of what the visuals might be like at the show for you? Any kind of the lighting or any set pieces or anything that might be visually exciting for fans?
Well, I feel that you're gonna have to come and find out to see what's in store.
That's very mysterious, but also very exciting, because I know fans have grown accustomed to pretty much expect anything, and they just love it with seeing you on stage.
Oh, I just love them so much.
Awesome. And then if you could perform with any other artist at the on the VidCon stage, who would it be besides Charlotte?
I would probably say Plant, but he's having a little bit of trouble getting around these days.
You might want to, you could put him on like a gurney, wheel him about maybe.
Yeah, he needs maybe a roller skate.
Yeah. And then, so looking forward to the future, what are some artistic venues you maybe like to explore? Because I know you have your graphic novel, you've done music, you've done your YouTube videos. It feels like you've really expanded in so many ways. What's a new maybe venture that you'd like to go after?
Titanic Sinclair and I are working on our first Poppy film, and I'm just very excited about it. It's what we've always wanted to make, and I think it's something that the fans have always wanted to see.
And then, is that going to be a scripted film or maybe more of like a documentary type film? What can you tease anything about what will be in that?
It will be a scripted film.
Awesome. And then, so let's see. So we have to say that you're pretty much a fashion icon. We saw that you're at Paris Fashion Week posing with Aquaria, living it up. Why is fashion so important to you, and how do you find inspiration for your looks every day? Because I feel like you always are coming up with something new and fresh.
Thank you. Fashion is important to me because it's about wearing your insides on your outsides, and if you're boring on the inside, you'll probably be boring on the outside, and I don't like to be boring. And I just love being around expensive things that are fashion.
That's a mood. And then, who would you say would be perhaps your fashion icons?
I really like Madonna and Prince.
What about their style do you like?
They are perfect in their musical endeavors and fantastic in their fashion endeavors.
What else can you tease for fans that you have that's coming up?
I think my album is a pretty significant piece of information.
And what are you hoping fans get out of this album?
The new album that is being released at the end of the year, well, I hope they just listen to it from beginning to end all the way through and enjoy their stay.
If you love that video, you're gonna love everything on the Access YouTube channel, so hit the subscribe button. You can thank me later. Hit it. Now. Thanks.